all of Chris Evans' Captain America costumes, from Captain America the First Avenger to Avengers Endgame. These are all of Steve Rogers' Captain America uniforms ranked. Steve Rogers calls himself a kid from Brooklyn, but he is one of the most important heroes in the MCU. Dr. Askin gave Rogers his super soldier serum because he was sure that Rogers would always do the right thing. The serum strengthens everything in the mind of the person who takes it. Steve Rogers' inner strength and sense of right and wrong are the same before and after he takes the serum. However, with the enhancements, he becomes Captain America, a Marvel character. In Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers gave the shield and title of Captain America to another Avenger, Sam Wilson. This was the end of his journey. During the events of the Infinity Saga, Rogers wears many uniforms before the end of his journey. Here are all of Chris Evans' Captain America uniforms. Number 9. First Avengers uniform, the Avengers movie. The Avengers is iconic and occupies an important position in pop culture history, but its Captain America uniform does not cut it. Steve Rogers' uniform in the Avengers makes it harder to take the character seriously after a good start in Captain America the First Avenger. Cap's ridiculous helmet spoils what would otherwise be a good costume. Instead of embodying the pinnacle of human ability, the helmet makes its user appear silly. Number 8. USO uniform, Captain America the First Avenger. In Captain America the First Avenger, Steve Rogers wears a costume to act on stage and sell war bonds before fighting Hydra on the battlefield. He is first called Captain America, a mascot made by the USO during World War II. The uniform is cheesy but looks good and pays tribute to the old Marvel comics. In a live-action movie, though, the uniform of the boss of Earth's mightiest heroes needs to be a bit more serious. Number 7. Smithsonian uniform, Captain America the Winter Soldier. In Captain America the Winter Soldier, Steve Rogers must find a way to fight Hydra, which has taken over S.H.I.E.L.D. Rogers has no Captain America uniform, so he goes to the Smithsonian Museum and gets a copy of the SSR Field uniform. The replica is a different copy of the original uniform. Some small changes exist between the Smithsonian version and the real World War II uniform. Still, the original is better than the copy. Number 6. SSR Field uniform, Captain America the First Avenger. Captain America, played by Steve Rogers, is a superhero who lives in the 21st century. But that doesn't change the fact that the First Avenger was a hero of World War II. In the 1940s, Captain America wears the SSR Field uniform when he faces Nazis and Hydra. There is no better suit that shows where Steve Rogers came from than this one. Captain America beats the Red Skull and saves the US from the weapons of mass destruction that the Red Skull has. But Steve Rogers needs to crash a plane into the Arctic, which will freeze Captain America until he wakes up 70 years later. Number 5. Second Avengers uniform, Avengers Age of Ultron. After wearing an unsightly costume in the first Avengers film, Captain America wears a much better suit in the sequel, Avengers Age of Ultron. This costume establishes the framework for the subsequent Captain America uniforms, which are minor modifications rather than significant overhauls. Steve Rogers takes on more of a leadership role in Age of Ultron, leading the Avengers against Ultron and his army of sentries. Captain America's uniform colors blend seamlessly with the other Avengers' costumes and complement the film's overall color scheme. Number 4. Third Avengers uniform, Captain America Civil War. Captain America's third Avengers uniform appears in Captain America Civil War and is Steve Rogers' final uniform in the Captain America trilogy. It is comparable to the uniform in Avengers Age of Ultron, with minor changes to the previous design. Even with the modest alterations, the costume has a somewhat different feel. Muted hues, the removal of red accents, the removal of white stripes on the sleeves, altered details, and boots are among them. There is a reason why the Age of Ultron and Civil War uniforms have just slight variations. Marvel Studios expertly represent Captain America in both narrative and costume design. While Captain America's uniform undergoes significant modifications and updates to bring him into the modern era, the uniform remains a strong representation of a soldier and a leader. Number 3. Fugitive Uniform. Avengers Infinity War. Steve Rogers is a fugitive before and during the events of Avengers Infinity War, opposing the Sokovia Accords and breaking his allies out of the raft. Rogers continues to wear the Captain America Civil War uniform, which now appears distinct enough to be called its suit. The uniform no longer includes a helmet, Avengers logos, or the iconic star that appears on every Captain America uniform. This is the darkest of Steve Rogers' uniforms, with fading colors and a lack of ability to conceal wear and tear after years of service. Fans associate this version of the suit with Nomad from Marvel Comics, Steve Rogers' alias when he removes himself from the government while still fighting for the country's principles. Number 2. Fourth Avengers Uniform. Avengers Endgame. In the first 3 parts of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain America is one of the most important figures. The Infinity Saga starts with Captain America the First Avenger and ends with Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter dancing in Avengers Endgame. One of the best characters in the MCU should have an excellent costume for their last showing. Marvel Studios uses Captain America's standard comic book chainmail design for the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In Avengers Endgame, the scales of the chainmail are finally out in the open and can be seen. He wears this outfit when Captain America uses Mjolnir and leads the Avengers against Thanos. In Avengers Endgame, Captain America wears one of his best suits. Number 1. Stealth Suit. Captain America the Winter Soldier. The best live-action Captain America suit is the Stealth Suit. Chris Evans' best Captain America suit is also the Stealth Suit from Captain America the Winter Soldier. In an interview with BBC Radio 1, Evans said, "Without a doubt, a stealth suit. The suit at the beginning of Captain America the Winter Soldier, when it's all blue number. That was a great thing. The suit only gets a little screen time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The suit doesn't get much screen time, but when it does, it looks fantastic. Captain America looks great in navy blue." Rogers wears the suit when he and Black Widow, Brock Rumlow, and a tactical team go on a mission to save prisoners. In Avengers Endgame, the costume comes back when the remaining Avengers meet Thanos in his yard at the movie's beginning.